I just got out of the shower, but I got back from the state fair. I am tired. I slept horribly. And this is being recorded on my computer because right now my phone is having some issues with the touchscreen, and I probably don't even have enough storage on my phone. I have like 50 gigabytes on my computer's solid state drive and over 800 on my hard drive. But anyway, that's not the point. But I want to talk about my trip to the Minnesota State Fair. Now I'm also gonna read just some things. I probably should have done this first. I had my computer not only turned off but unplugged during the days that I was gone. Right now it is Saturday at 10:44 p.m. Yep. And so, why do I feel like that? Because there's a little string from my shirt. Yeah. Right now it is Saturday, 10:44 p.m. and I should go step by step of my experience to the state fair. Now, getting to the state fair was a different thing. Let's go with that first. I explained it in another video, but I might as well explain it here. Basically, 2 years ago in school, I built a ginormous Ferris wheel out of K'NEX. It was a kit that someone at the school was like, "Hey, do you want to build this during some hours at school?" And I'm like, "Sure." And so I was working on it about an hour per day, 1 day per week, for about 4 months. I estimate it took me about 20 hours total to complete. And I do not have any pictures to show because of the fact that I'm recording this on my built-in camera app on Windows. And so I cannot actually show you some pictures. But just look up 6-foot tall K'NEX Ferris wheel. That's what it is. And it was used, so there were some missing pieces, but I worked with what I had. And I built it. And right before Christmas break, too. Now, fast forward to what would have been my junior year. That's a story for another time. And they were remodeling the library. And they asked if I wanted it. I was like, I have no place for a 6-foot tall Ferris wheel. I'd love to have it though. Also, does this light even make a difference? No, I'm turning that off. That's hurting my eyes. My camera has a light thing. But so the Ferris wheel, I built it, and they asked if, yeah, okay, where was I? I'm trying to think. So they asked if I wanted it. I said no, because no place for it. Like, my roof there, about 6 feet. Ferris wheel is 6.5 feet tall. I couldn't even fit it there. I could fit it on this side, because it's a slanted roof, but you get my point. And so then I quickly forgot about it again. Because, oh, by the way, I built it in my sophomore year. So that was about a year. Like, I had forgotten about it after I built it, pretty much, and it was just sitting in the library. So yeah, I kind of forgot about it. Until, eventually, one day in June, I got a call from one of my ex-coworkers, who I hadn't heard from in almost a year at this point, and this was June this year. And, aka in between my sophomore and junior year. And, so, I got a call from one of my ex-coworkers I used to work with, and I was confused. I picked up, I was like, "Hello?" She was like, "Hey, is this Trevor?" And I'm like, I don't care. I'm saying my real name. I rarely say it. It's not like you guys know it. Considering the fact nobody really watches these videos that I make. Probably no one will find out that that's my real name. But yeah, she was like, "Is this you?" And I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Hey, it's me," coworker's name, and I'm with. I'm trying to think. Would I be able to say some of this stuff and keep privacy? I'm not sure. But basically, she explained. Like, I'll just explain it in simplistic terms. She explained that she's now working with a company that's part of like the University of Minnesota. I'm not sure if it's like a statewide thing. It's called 4-H. I don't even know what it stands for. But she explained how they got the Ferris wheel that I built, and they were transporting it to the fairgrounds of the county seat of the county that I am in. And it broke in transit, and she asked if I could come fix it. And so I drove down and came to fix it. And because like they just wanted to have it as decoration at the fairgrounds, but then they were like, "You want to enter it into the county fair?" And I'm like, "Sure." Now the county fair is late June, and so this was about a little over a month. Jeez, that amount of time has already passed. Man, I wasted my summer. It's gone. My summer is gone, and I wasted it. That's a story for another day, though. But I was like, I had to fill out some paperwork, and then it was in the county fair, and I was judged the day before the fair started, and so I got a blue ribbon for it. Let me explain. I'm gonna hold it while covering up the county's name. This blue ribbon right here, and they were. I don't exactly know how it works. I think it's that. I know how with the state fair. I nearly showed this other side, but with the state fair, I know it's like purple is the highest one, and then followed by blue, and then red and white. And the purple are decided later, and people who win the purple also win a blue. So I think it's the same with the counties, because I wasn't gonna find out until later whether or not I got the purple ribbon, aka the Grand Champion, meaning it could go to the state fair. Well, judging by the fact that I'm making this video, you probably know that it won Grand Champion. Yeah. And so ever since then I've had both the blue ribbon and the purple ribbon hanging up in my background. You can probably see it in some of my videos, but you probably can't make out what words are on it, so I'm fine with it. Yeah, I won the Grand Champion for that, and it's like a bunch of other people did. It was just in my category that I was in, engineering design. But the thing is, I think I was the only person in engineering design, because I live in rural Minnesota. Most of the people around here are farmers or related to farmers. And so, not a lot of engineers around here, or nerdy people. That's why I'm kind of a outlier. But I had a month, or less than a month, to figure out how to transport a 6-foot tall Ferris wheel down to the Twin Cities. And so, like a week before the state fair, or whatever, like 2 weeks ago, my dad and we got my dad's trailer, and one thing I completely forgot to mention, when I rebuilt the Ferris wheel, is that there were a ton of missing pieces, because they carried it in a horse trailer, and they did not take it apart even partially. They had it slanted in the horse trailer with ratchet straps around it. A bunch of pieces broke off in transit. And so, like, there were a ton of missing pieces when I got there. And so I had to actually take apart a lot of the carriages to use as pieces to make sure it wouldn't just crumble inward on itself. And so I took apart a ton of the carriages and made it that initially there was one rod in between each carriage. Now there's two. I actually prefer the two. It looked way too cluttered to me with the one. And so then I fixed it up. And so when we were getting it in my dad's trailer to haul it down to the state fair, we knew we had to take it apart. And we didn't have to take it apart like crazy. We figured out that the easiest way was to remove the wheel and metal axle from the base support, and then split the base support in two. Very easy to do so. And Then we wrapped it in bubble wrap and put a bunch of stuff in between it. And then my dad drove it home, and I drove home. And so then we just had to wait till we had to bring it down to the Twin Cities, which was a while later. And we brought it down. And then what's also funny is that my stepmom was driving down in the Twin Cities, and down to the Twin Cities, because she knows the Twin Cities better, and she has a CDL. Frankly, I do not trust my dad with a trailer in the Twin Cities. And so it got all there in one piece, no broken pieces. And so we just took it out of the trailer, put it together, and it looks heavy. Like, if you look at the pictures, you're gonna think it's probably like maybe 60, 70 pounds. I lifted it up with one hand, putting my arm in the, like, holding it by the axle, the metal axle that holds the wheel. It was maybe 20 pounds. Not even, probably. And so carried it in, got it set up, and then had to wait for the state fair. And basically, what it was is that I was taking a bus down to the state fair, charter bus. I was going to be there for 3 days. And it wouldn't be till close to the fair was ending. AKA, now we are at the present day. And, yeah. I just had to wait until then. And so, time frame. Again, it's Saturday today. I just got back from the state fair. I was down at the state fair today. And so Thursday, had to get to the place where the charter bus was meeting up at 8. And so I did. And I got on the charter bus and went down to the Twin Cities, stopped at a place to get food. I got Arby's. I don't like McDonald's. Arby's isn't that really great either. I got chicken strips there. It's like McDonald's is worse. I do not like McDonald's at all. I don't like fast food in general. It's just way too artificial tasting. But the Arby's chicken strips were not bad. I've had way better, but I've also had way worse. So I'll take it. But so we got down there, and while we were going through security, I was in the Minnesota Discord server. Keyword was. And so while we were going through security, I was saying in the Minnesota Discord server how I am now at the state fair and I don't really like the Twin Cities. Now, every time I say I do not like the cities, people get pissy. Like, every time. And I don't know why. Like, why? It's just, they suck, in my opinion. Most metropolitan cities do. And it's just the fact that the Twin Cities, they are the main cultural hub of the state of Minnesota. I do not like them at all. And people in there were getting pissy. They were trying to defend it, trying to be like, well, this, that. And, it's like, I never thought the Minnesota Discord server would be a more toxic server than the server that I'm in that allows the N-word in memes, the R-word in text, and the F-slur in memes as well. And I never thought that would be less toxic than the Minnesota Discord server. And do not ask why I'm in that other toxic server, though. We'll get to why it's even more toxic later. But, yeah, we were going through security. And, because it was taking a while, that's why I was in the Minnesota Discord server. And, then we got through security, went all the way to the 4-H building, got up to the dorms, and it basically looks like an armory camp. And, so yeah. It was weird. The mattresses felt like duct tape. They weren't sticky, but it's like, the non-adhesive side of the duct tape. Yeah, felt like that. So I slept horribly these past 2 nights. And so I'm going to sleep great back on my comfy bed. But yeah, after getting all set up, the chaperone was like, hey, do you want to join us to go walk around the fair? And I'm like, sure. And so we did, and so it's like, we stopped at multiple different places, and I mainly wanted to find one thing. part of this video is going to get a little political, but not yet. I just want to mention it here. The Walls Lies booth, I wanted to see it just to see what it was like, because I heard about it online, and we'll get to that later. Yeah, we walked around. We did find the Walls Lies booth, and I wanted to find the arcade because I was looking for a place that had Mario Kart Arcade GP, and we'll get to that later as well, because I did not actually go into the arcade nor the Walls Lies booth until the next day, so we'll get to that later. So I'm gonna pause real quick, do something. All right, I'm back. So yeah, I didn't get to do those till the next day, so I'll get to them. But where was I? I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, we went to the Miracle of Birth Center. Weird place, smelly. I didn't see anything, but it's like there were videos, and I'm like, hey, I get that's part of nature, but that's just nasty. Yeah, for like pigs, cows, chickens, goats. Yeah. We also went to the DNR center they had there. And this is where I'm gonna mention that the Minnesota Discord server gets way more toxic. Because eventually at one point, I don't remember where it was, but I think it was before the DNR center, I'd asked if there was still an arcade at the state fair, and that was before I found out there is. And I asked there, and people were like, oh, do you just ask questions to complain about something? And I'm like, no, I'm genuinely curious. And then it got into an argument somehow. And I don't remember if it was the same guy or a different guy, but eventually it was someone who, if it was the same guy or a different guy, goes, good luck leaving your small town of 500 people. And I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I'm here, because people like you are stuck in the metro. And then I was banned for, and I quote, touch some grass. That is the dumbest reason I've ever been banned from a Discord server or anything. Wow. And it's like some other stuff, like before then, while I was still in line for the security thing, I eventually mentioned that I mentioned my hometown, and they were like, you think your shithole hometown is much better than Twin Cities? I'm like, I didn't say it was good. I just mentioned that's my hometown. Better than Twin Cities though, but not by much. It's still a shithole. Because like I'm not gonna mention my hometown, but it's like around Minnesota, my hometown is pretty well known, I'd say. But they were like, you like Duluth? I'm like, hey, it's pretty. Twin Cities? What do I see? Garbage shit everywhere. What I see with Duluth is a pretty lake and harbors. Stuff like that's something I wanted to mention. It's like, why? And if you're someone who's watching this, who is offended by the fact that I do not like the Twin Cities, rethink your life and let people have opinions. Okay? Because this is bullshit. Got it? Like, this shouldn't even have to be said. Anyway, let's get back to the state fair. We also watched some llamas or alpacas, I don't know what they were. And I wanted to get some ice cream, so I stopped by this place that had, I don't know what it was. Let me see. I didn't get a full picture of the booth. I should have. It says handcrafted Hungarian pastries. Sweet dough spiraled around a wooden roll and baked rotisserie style over an open flame. The caramelized outside and the light fluffy inside pairs perfectly with the ice cream and confections. Will this even show? Oh yeah, it does. This was really good. Like, really good. $15? Good? Well, that's fair food for you. It's fair food, not fair pricing. That's my motto with the fairs. And another thing I do want to mention about the Minnesota Discord server is that I mentioned it's $14 for a foot-long corn dog. And they were like, I mentioned, yeah, crazy about fairs. It's 14. Oh, it's crazy about the state fair. It's $14 for a foot-long corn dog. And I'm like, and someone goes, that's every fair. And I'm like, no. My home county's fair was $7 for a foot-long corn dog. That's not much better, but that is cheaper. So yeah, I'm just, wow, I never would have expected that was a toxic Discord server. And people there, I mentioned, like, wow, I did not expect this server to be toxic. People there were like, it's not. I'm like, yeah, it is. Yeah. So, I'm trying to think, where was I? Oh yeah, after the Miracle of Birth thing, we walked around, found the arcade, and found the Walls Lies booth. Arcade was open, but we were just ready to get back to the building, so we just went back, and Walls Lies booth was closed. And so, went back, showered, the next day, woke up, and my mom actually came down to join me to go around the state fair. So, we did go back to that ice cream place, and we went on the gondola as well. Not the enclosed one. We didn't do that because the line was way too long. But we did the open one. That was pretty cool. And then we went to the Walls Lies booth, and I wanted. Now, here's where it's going to get political, as I mentioned. I wanted to see what the Walls Lies booth was like because I'm gonna try and not be politically biased here in this video. But it's like, I was curious what it was about. And so I went up and asked the people, I was like, hey, I just wondering, what's the point of this booth? And the woman there explained. Now, again, this is not my words, this is her words. She's like, well, it's just that, like, I'm Democrat, he's Republican, some of the other people here, same thing. We both came together to, like, talk about the lies of Tim Walz and the damage he's done to our state and economy. And it's like, acting like Walz is the only politician that doesn't lie is just false. Like, you lie, I lie, that guy over there lies. It's just wrong to act like that. And also just, it's funny. And so those were her not exact words, but that's pretty much what she said. Nearly exactly from what I remember. And so it was really cool to see a different take on it, because I just expected it to be a bunch of conservatives hating on Walz. Now, I'm not going to give my stance on Walz here, because frankly, I do not need to, and I do not want to start an argument or anything. I save that for Reddit. Yeah, I'm an incel. But, yeah. It's just that, yeah, I expected it to be a bunch of conservatives hating Walz, but nope. And so I told a couple of people, I'm like, I recommend, no matter what political party you are, go to the Walls Lies booth just to get a different take on things. And yeah, that was probably one of the biggest highlights of the fair. But also, I'm going to show you something. Let me pause the recording to go get it. Got a little bent and damaged in transit, but they give out free fans. And I kept it, because I have to. It's just kind of funny. So yeah. Then I went to the arcade. And what I thought about the arcade was that... So, as I mentioned earlier, I was looking for Mario Kart Arcade GP. And they have it. They have DX, which was the third one. I played 2 races of it. And it was the worst Mario Kart I've played. I've only played Wii U. I've only played Mario Kart Wii, Mario Kart DS, Mario Kart 7, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario Kart Tour, and Mario Kart World. And all of those are better than Mario Kart Arcade GP DX. The announcer's voice I heard was annoying. That's an understatement. The speakers were way too loud. The rumble on the steering wheel was way too extreme. $1 per racetrack, not per cup, per racetrack. And frankly, racetracks? I only did 2. They were friggin' forgettable. Like, what were they called? I don't remember anything. Yeah, not worth it. I'm gonna see if I can find like an emulated version on my computer, because I do want to play the rest of the games and the rest of the tracks, but it's like, I'm not spending $1 per one. And so yeah, did that. I'm trying to think what else I did. After that, hanging out with my mom, I did pretty much nothing. I went back to the dorm and took a nap because I was tired for maybe like half an hour or something. Hold on, I'm gonna go do something real quick again. Alright, I'm back. Yeah, I took a nap for about a half an hour, and afterwards did nothing for the rest of the day pretty much. Just laid in the bunks and yeah. And so then I'm trying to think. Like at 9 o'clock there was a dance sort of thing, and so I went down to just join, and I stood there for maybe half an hour, close to 45 minutes, maybe close to an hour. I'm not sure. Just like, well, I know nobody here. Why am I even standing here? It's like on this trip, I knew literally no one. I had no clue who a single person was. And I think there were only like 2 other kids from my same county. Because the bus was. Actually, no, I think there were more. There were only. Yeah, there were more. But there were only 2 that I knew of. Because their mom was the chaperone for our county. But like everyone else was from other counties and stuff. And so yeah, it just yeah, I knew nobody. I was at the dance like, oh, maybe I could meet a girl or something. But why did I even try? After a while, I just set a timer for like 10 minutes, and I was like, all right, if nothing happens in these 10 minutes, I'll just go back up and take a shower. Oh no, I already took a shower by that point. I was like, nah, if nothing happens, I'll just go back up and go to bed. Because judging on my Ferris wheel was this morning, aka yesterday's tomorrow. You get what I'm saying? The dance was yesterday. Basically, we had to go down to the second floor for orientation to figure out where our judging would be and who it would be. And that was supposed to be at 8:30. Now, the day before, I got pretty good sleep. I fell asleep pretty early, I'd say, but actually, no, I got horrible sleep. What am I saying? But I fell asleep early, that's my point. And I woke up at 9. I've slept for maybe 11 hours somehow. That's how bad I slept. 11 to 10. And so getting up at 8:30 would be a bit of a challenge. So I set an alarm, and then went to bed at 11. Because that's when the lights went out. And it's like, there was a really loud, annoying fan. And I was on the phone with one of my friends last night talking with him. He's like, is there a dog whining in the room you're in? And I'm like, no, that's the fan. It was that loud. It was a giant fan hanging from the wall. And so yeah, it cooled us down, but a little too much in my opinion. I was a little cold at points because it's an old building and there's no AC. So yeah, and I'm tired. Yeah, no AC, so the loud fan, that was an issue for my sleep. And then when I woke up the next day, I woke up to everybody at like 6:30 getting up and packing their stuff up and getting ready for the day. And usually I stay in bed for like maybe 15 minutes after getting up or being awake, but I stayed for maybe half an hour. It was longer. I was so tired. And then I set alarm for 7 o'clock and 7:30. I was still laying in bed, not going on my phone, but I was awake. My alarm went off and I didn't even really know, because the loud fan that was annoying me. And So yeah, it probably wouldn't have worked anyways. Thank God other people were waking up early, or else I wouldn't have. Um, but yeah. I then got dressed and got prepared for the 8 o'clock meeting, or 8 o'clock orientation. So I did. Found out my judging would be at 9:45. So I had nothing to do but wait, for about an hour, because like by the time the orientation thing was done, it was about 8:45. So I killed some time in that time and went got a corn dog. I ate 5 corn dogs in the past 3 days. I lived off corn dogs these past 3 days. You don't go to the state fair and not have corn dogs. That's the way I see it. But yeah, I did that and then walked around for a bit, eventually until 9:45, and my judging happened. I was really hoping to get the purple ribbon for the state fair, and unfortunately, I only got the blue one. Shit. This is the one for my county. I'm gonna have to see if I can edit that, because I'm not recording this all over again. I'll have to figure out how to edit that maybe. Let's keep note. That's around 31:20. Hold on, 31:20. All right, I left a note. Normally I wouldn't be like too concerned about, like, if I lived in a bigger county that had more people and more towns, I wouldn't be as concerned about that. But I live in a county with total of 5 towns and 9,000 people. So yeah. Now, but here is the 4-H ribbon for the state fair. The blue one. There's the white one, which means, quoting them, meets few standards of excellence. Red meets some standards of excellence. Blue meets most standards of excellence. And purple meets all standards of excellence. And I, yeah, only got the blue ribbon. And I'm disappointed a little that I only got the blue ribbon. But it's like, the purple ribbon for the county fair looks like this. And the purple ribbon for the state fair is this, but purple. It's not as interesting looking. And so yeah, I yeah, but hey, still got something. Not the people who got a red ribbon. I didn't see anybody who got a white ribbon, but I saw a couple people who got a red ribbon. And it's like most people had a blue ribbon though. And honestly, I feel bad for the people. If anybody had a white ribbon, I just feel bad for them, because it's like, yeah, it's the lowest one. Everybody got a blue ribbon pretty much. But the purple ribbon was excluded for like 10%. They said. Guess I didn't meet that 10%, unfortunately. But hey, I won a trip to the state fair. And it was great. I'm really glad that I went. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention before stopping the recording is that there was a parade like early this afternoon. So about 8 hours ago. It was a nice parade. Marching bands, stuff like that. Also, one thing I want to mention is that there were like a football field long of a line every day for the donuts. Like, they're good, but they're not that good. If I'm waiting in a line that long for donuts, they better be free. So yeah. Then we got on the bus and went back home. And I am really glad to have gone to the state fair. Will I go again? Maybe. But unless if it's paid for again. And I, like, unless if it's a part of a thing like this again, I'm probably not going to do it. Um, yeah. So this was my trip, or this was my experience at the state fair. And all of it because of a model Ferris wheel I built 2 years ago. To think, if I were to tell myself from that time, if I were to tell myself when I was building it that it would be going to the state fair, I don't think I'd believe myself. And what's kind of unfortunate is that I do have to give it back to the person that I got it from. I wish I could keep it as a memento of my trip to the state fair. I have no room for it, but it's like I'd take it apart, put it in a tote, and then eventually rebuild it when I'd have space. But yeah, it's unfortunate. But yeah, I won a trip to the state fair, and I'm really glad. So yeah, now I'm gonna figure out how to edit that part.